Hi friends, as Season 12 has been live for 3 weeks now, I thought it would be good to talk about who are the top 10 most picked legends in Season 12 so far. This might give you some ideas of which legends you might want to try out. Let's start with the 10th place most picked legend so far this season in Season 12. We've got Horizon with a 3.8% pick rate. This is slightly up on last season, and I think the main reason for this is because Horizon just works so well for Olympus, and of course we know Olympus is the current ranked map this split, as well as being back as a pubs map as well. The map layout and verticality for Olympus just really suits her kit. And by the way, all of these stats in this video are based on ApexLegendsStatus.com, and this is based on their 10 million player base. Moving on to 9th place, it's Mad Maggie. Interestingly, Mad Maggie only has a 4% pick rate. This isn't really as high as we've seen for many new legends in recent seasons, especially being this early on in a season, and I think that's because she doesn't offer much verticality. Plus, her kit really suits a specific type of player in specific situations where you're pushing buildings or pushing camping teams, and that doesn't necessarily suit every situation. To be honest, I think World's Edge would be a good map for Mad Maggie. With all the buildings and structures there, I feel like that's probably better than the maps that we've currently got. So I do wonder if World's Edge comes back, maybe Mad Maggie's pick rate will go up. In 8th place, it's Ashe. Ashe has had a small resurgence in pick rate after initially dropping off quite a lot from her strong start last season. Ashe's ultimate works really nicely on Olympus. There are lots of open areas on Olympus, and her ultimate lets you and your team get through those open areas a lot faster. Don't forget they did also give her a slight buff this season to make her ultimate a little bit easier to place further away. If you think about last season, it was just too easy to accidentally place it really close to you, meaning you just wouldn't go very far using her ultimate. In 7th place, we've got Lifeline. Now, I'll be honest here, I didn't expect Lifeline to be in the top 10, but with a 4.2% pick rate, it seems there are still lots of players using Lifeline. She hasn't really had any changes to her kit for a while, so I think it's just a case of her still being the only real team healer and reviver in the game, and that's why her pick rate's still fairly consistent. In 6th place, it's Bangalore. Lots of people thought Mad Maggie would basically replace Bangalore and make her redundant when she arrived in Season 12. However, Bangalore mains have remained strong, and while there is only a 0.4% pick rate difference, Bangalore does come out on top. I think Olympus and King's Canyon coming back has helped Bangalore's pick rate a little bit. Her smoke and damage dealing ultimate are really useful for the open spaces on King's Canyon and Olympus. Plus, her speed boost passive is slightly less situational than Mad Maggie's. The 5th most picked legend at the moment is Pathfinder with a 7.6% pick rate. You can see here that the gap between the top 5 most picked legends and the rest starts to open up. Outside the top 5, their pick rates are fairly close together, but as soon as you get into the top 5, you do see this little bit of a jump, with Pathfinder starting that off at 7.6%. Now, Pathy is still lacking any kind of useful passive, and I really do think the devs need to do something about this in the future, but apart from that, he's still a very solid choice, especially with the map designs of Olympus and King's Canyon, which as I've mentioned have come back this season. Pathy's still a great choice to pick individually, but also for the team. The 4th most picked legend is Bloodhound, up 6% to 10.3% now. I think some of this increase is certainly due to the fact that they gave the first ever prestige skin in the game, which came with the anniversary collection event. They gave it to Bloodhound, and even though that skin wasn't what a lot of people wanted, it's still new and unique enough, especially with the damage challenge to level up the skin, to get a fair amount of people playing Bloodhound again. And to be honest, I include myself in that category. I hadn't really played Bloodhound for a good 3 seasons until this season came along, and of course we got the Bloodhound prestige skin, and that encouraged me to start playing Bloodhound again. The 3rd most picked legend is Valkyrie. I feel Valkyrie was a bit of a slow burner in terms of popularity. When she first came to the game, she wasn't overly popular, but that's really increased this season, and you can see with the 11% pick rate at the moment, Valkyrie is really popular. And to be honest, I do think some of the pros have had an influence on this, given Valkyrie's success in the ALGS tournaments. To be honest, I think the openness and size of Olympus and Stormpoint do make Valkyrie a very useful legend. No other legend really has that team redeployment ability to the same scale as Valkyrie, so I do think Valkyrie is a great pick, not just for ranked but also for pubs as well, given the maps we've got this season. The 2nd most picked legend is Wraith. Wraith is still super popular with an 11.4% pick rate. It's just hard to match her abilities in terms of what they do individually but also for the team. She's still the only legend that can literally become invincible for up to 4 seconds, and by invincible obviously I mean they can't take damage. I am still a big fan of Wraith, and I do think she brings a lot to any team composition, And finally, the most picked legend is Octane, with a 12.6% pick rate. Octane is still really popular, and I think it's just because he's a lot of fun to play. Octane brings a lot of speed and agility to the game, and his jump pad is still really useful for the team, especially on maps like Olympus and King's Canyon, given the way that they are spread out quite a lot and you do tend to be jumping towards structures or buildings, and Octane does definitely help with that. By the way, all of these stats are based on an average across all game modes and rank, but if you're curious to know what the higher tier ranks lobbies look like in terms of pick rates, here's a little look at the top 5 for the Masters and Predator ranked players, and obviously you can see here Wraith takes over in first place, followed by Pathfinder, Bloodhound, Octane and Valkyrie. To be fair, I think this kind of makes sense given that most of the sweaty Masters and Predator players tend to be Wraith mains. But also, all of these legends do give some form of team movement capability, which I think you do find a lot more common at the higher tiers of ranked. Anyway, that's it for my top 10 most selected legends at the moment in Apex Legends Season 12. I hope this was interesting and maybe gives you some ideas if you're looking to see who to try out for Season 12. Thank you so much for watching, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.